Hey there, and welcome to YAS, a stripper podcast. On this podcast, we'll discuss how classifying each other as people and workers is dangerous to society and marginalized groups of people. We'll also talk about the climate in and outside of the strip clubs and all of the amazing things that strippers do. And of course, we'll talk about all of the things in between. I'm your queen, A.M. Davies, and this is YAS, a stripper podcast. Hey guys, we're back on another episode of YAS, a stripper podcast, and this is going to be a really interesting episode, so really excited to have this conversation with you, but something that I wanted to make sure that everyone out there that's listening to this show and like listening to my voice is aware of. And today's message is about unity and unionization and being united, and that's why I'm wearing my United by Pole shirt today. So a little background on me, if you don't know me very well, is back in 2009 I created a company called United Pole Artists, and it was all about combining the love of pole with people around the world, regardless of how you're doing pole dancing, and to accept each other for how you're doing pole dancing. And the main mission in that was to educate the population on the difference between pole dancing, pole dance fitness, and stripping, and that pole dancing derives from strippers. That was always the message, to really make sure that as pole dancing grew, that everybody understood that A, there's a difference, and B, that pole dancing derives from strippers and stripping. And so now the work that I'm getting into is actually unionizing strippers here in California and all across the country. It's taken me several years to finally figure out that that's pretty much my life's purpose, is to unify and unite people. And so through the work that I'm doing with a team of people, it's been very empowering. It's been life-changing, and it's actually, I feel like I've been given a true purpose. And so today's conversation is going to be around why strippers should be unionizing across the country and what's happening to different types of dancers all across the country and furthermore the world, actually. But since, we're going to try to just keep it into one area for now, because, we don't know as much about what's happening in Europe. So, but I would like to introduce you to my beautiful, amazing guest, and this is Natalie Clark, and we've been working together. Natalie was with me at the very beginning of UPA before it was anything.
Yes, when you were asking what should the name be.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So I had friends and family help vote on what the name of United Pole Artists should be.
I strongly suggested that the N be artists, because we are artists before we are athletes, in my opinion.
Exactly. So. Yeah, beautiful. And then furthermore, Natalie also works with Soldiers of Pole.
Yes.
Which is also an organization I'm on the board of directors on. She's on the board of directors. We're both on the board of directors. And Soldiers of Pole is an organization that is trying to is unionizing dancers.
Yes.
Yeah, strippers.
That is an action.
It is absolutely an action.
Yeah.
We're already in process of unionizing strippers in various clubs here in Los Angeles, and we have meetings coming up in other parts of the state, and we won't give you the details on who's unionizing or who's doing what. That is top secret information. Shh. In order to get that info, you need to go down into a tunnel on a secret island that you can't find on a map, and you go into a white room and wear robes and sit on glass chairs.
Yes.
It's very secretive.
You jump head first into the tunnel.
That's basically the Illuminati's message. I read their book recently. Anyway, hello, how are you? Let's talk about you and your background and why you are an expert in not only stripping and pole dancing, but the current divide that we experience. So how long have you been dancing?
I started dancing in the San Fernando Valley in the year of 2002.
Okay. Like ages ago.
Yes.
Like hella long time ago.
Yes. Flying around on the pole. I spent the first 3 years of my career working day and night shift.
Like doubles.
Doubles. Yeah. No time off, no drugs, no alcohol, just to get a better understanding of the job as a whole. Yeah, I loved it.
Or to make a lot of money.
No. I'm not a dancer that makes a lot of money. My portfolio has always been diverse.
Okay.
No choice in the matter.
Girl, I did those doubles for money.
Yeah,
money.
I wanted to travel. To me, it was always a benefit that I was able to take care of myself and my family, so the money was definitely a bonus.
Yeah.
But it was more about the experience, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's when I started working at, can we say?
Yeah.
Spearmint Rhino?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Absolutely.
I started working at the Rhino in Oxnard. I tried out at the Van Nuys. Yeah.
Yeah, I did the Oxnard too. So we didn't cross paths at Spearmint Rhino Oxnard. I did that so briefly.
No.
So far.
No.
And then we didn't cross paths in Van Nuys, Spearmint Rhino.
No.
But we did cross paths at Rouge, which is Spearmint Rhino owned. Used to be called Bob's Classy Lady.
Yes. With the fantasy
history
rooms.
lesson.
The fantasy rooms.
That club was actually really beautiful and unique.
They went into a deep design that was not available anywhere else.
Yeah, it was really cool. So do you I feel like you never remember the story of like the day we actually met, and like I've always been the one to remember that. Which is funny because the opposite happened recently.
Yes.
With a story that you remembered and I forgot. So, and I know you know the story because I've told it to her a few times, but I'll tell you guys, like, this is how it used to be back in the day. Like, there was a really tall pole at Rouge, and I had just won Entertainer of the Year for 2006. So I was being treated a little differently at that point by
She was the
various
feature
people.
of the night, and she was a dancer. She wasn't a professional
a
porn star, because Spearmint Rhino has those features comes in quite often, but you were not. You were around for Spearmint Rhino Entertainer of the Year.
Yeah. So I was just treated differently a little bit after I won, which is, you know, whatever. I get it. And so Natalie was on the pole, killing it. And when she came down off the pole, I said to her, "Oh my God, how did you do all of that?" And her response was, "I don't know. I guess God just made me this way."
I swear I said I was born to do this.
No. God made her that way. But she said it like, you didn't really look at me.
I don't even use the word God.
Girl, you did it that day. I will not forget. And you brushed me off. And my response was, "Oh, okay. I see how it is. Got you. I see you. Got you." Yeah. But then I don't know what happened. Magically, we became friends. So I don't remember exactly how that happened.
I mean, at that time period, when I met you, I had already been dissed by another dancer that I wanted to befriend because I saw her. I thought she was fantastic on the pole. I was like, "Hey, you want to do some stuff?" And the way she responded to me made me respond that way to others. So even though I was still at that stage where I was looking for individuals like yourself, peers, and love for what I was doing, I did not embrace you with that thought process.
Yeah, I mean, it was different back then. Like, we weren't teaching each other tricks. And in fact, we were trying to keep our content to ourselves.
Not at my spot. At Frisky Kitty, I taught most of the girls.
That's amazing.
Yeah, totally. We would have dead slots. That's when I learned to stand on the ceiling. We had Pantera came in. I wiped off the stage for her. She actually performed.
So Pantera is a stripper that's been around for a very long time, and she created the first ever instructional DVD or maybe even a VHS. And she also created the Jade Split move for pole dancers.
Really?
She's the inventor of the Jade Split.
I thought that was Jamila DeVille.
No, Jamila DeVille saw it on a video and then did it at Miss Pole Dance Australia in 2005.
Okay.
And Jamila admits this, and I have this on film. And she did not invent the Jade Split. She saw Pantera did it, and then she did it, and that was like the Jade Split heard around the world was the one at Miss Pole Dance Australia.
Okay.
She did not invent it, but she was the first one to do it at a competition on film that got viral.
I'm so happy that you said that last sentence that you said, because the first person I saw do a move that was not identified by the Jade Split was a dancer named Red at the Frisky Kitty, who was wild, crazy, and amazing. And she flowed into that trick like magic.
And what year was that?
Like I said, I was dancing at the Kitty in 2002. That was probably 2004.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Yeah, that would be
means
about 2004.
That means Jamila wasn't the first one. You know what I mean?
But that's just pole tricks,
well,
though.
she launched that Jade Split at Miss Pole Dance Australia 2005. She learned it for that competition. So, but she admits that she saw someone else do it.
I think that's the best thing that we can possibly do is share the inspiration that we get, because they're all just dance moves, and if we all throw our arms up, it'll be the same. So,
well, these days we're not necessarily sharing our dance moves on the internet amongst strippers. We're sharing our stories of distress and labor law violations and abuse tactics being practiced by strip club owners and staff members around the country.
Okay, so what do we want to get into first? Do we want to talk about the wage, or we want to go straight to the last event?
I want to start what happened at the Super Bowl, actually, because there's a whole series of things that happened recently. So first we had pole dancing on stage at the Super Bowl, and there was a large conversation around that. And that same night at the Super Bowl, we had abuses and severe wage theft and aggressive acts from staff members towards dancers that very same night at the Super Bowl after party. And that didn't come apparent until like maybe 24 hours later. So there was this big blow up about J-Lo being on stage with the pole. Then there was a blow up about the party.
Yes.
And then a few days later, we have Jania falling 15 feet and breaking her jaw, and then the whole conversation around that.
Yes.
So I feel like because the atrocities that took place at the Super Bowl, plus Jania falling, all of that happening in a short span of time has created a very public conversation on social media. One that I've seen this big for the first time of people, of dancers finally being like, oh we need to unionize.
Non-dancers speaking up as well, saying, hey, somebody should look up for these people. Like, that's not cool. No one should be treated that way.
Exactly. Yeah. So I definitely want to talk about it in order of things that happened. So, and then, the Super Bowl performance was very interesting. So I had been leading up to the Super Bowl performance. I have been very irritated by the Hustler movie. We can get into that on a different show because that's
neither one of us have watched it yet.
I've not been able to bring myself to watch it. So. I already know how I feel about it, so it's basically like going to be torture for me to watch it. So
I'm mad that the person didn't get their money. Like, they had to sue to get
so we'll get into that on a different episode. Maybe I'll be so lucky to get J-Lo on a podcast. Now. Can we get J-Lo in this chair? Okay.
Yes.